A very good afternoon to you. It is the 31st day of March, the very last day of March, the year 2023. Thank you for joining us here for Lunchtime News. We do have a comprehensive bulletin that we have prepared for you with all of the latest stories that are making headlines at this hour in this country and also from across the globe. I am Nissie Imano. We will begin with a live link from Gladys Mungai, who is our reporter that is on standby at the KICC, and she joins us live with an update. Good afternoon, Gladys.
Good afternoon to you, Nissie Imano, and like you rightly put it, we are coming to you live from the Kenyatta International Conference Center, where the 5th cohort of the Public Service Commission interns have been launched. Subsequently, a report in regards to how the Public Service Commission performed in regards to that particular program in the year 2021-2022. And today we've had a total of 3,900 interns being launched to be deployed in various aspects of government and departments within the country to better their skills they've learned from classrooms, to have a feel of what happens in a typical working experience. We've have the cohorts being encouraged to adhere to Article 10 and Article 232 of the Constitution in regards to matters of values of governance and public service. I really don't want to preempt much into that particular event. I'm now joined by one of the commissioners, Commissioner Mary, who will be telling us more about this particular event. Welcome very much, Commissioner Mary. We are live on KBC Channel 1. We've had a lot of things being spoken about today, and probably what I would want you to address is the issue of the increase in the number of cohorts at every particular level. I understand you started with around 1,500, now we are to around 3,900, and that particular number is about to sort of double and triple moving forward. What is your take about probably what has been announced today in regards to the country giving a chance to a number of graduates to get to experience working environments across the country?
Thank you so very much. The number has increased somewhat this year to 3,902. This is a departure from the past cohorts. It's only 3 years old, this program. So when we started small and the numbers have increased, we are just happy today to record that next year the number will be actually 20,000, to go by what His Excellency the President has pronounced it today. Now, the numbers have increased because of the need first by the ministries and departments in government for the interns who learn, as you have said, learning, exposure, learning new skills and getting the work experience straight from university straight to work. So it is a transition from school to work. And it's a 1-year program, as you know, running for 12 months. These 12 months are adequate, in our view, to give them that opportunity to do what they best know, particularly from their training. Now, the 20,000 number, I guess I want to call it a big challenge, a very happy challenge, a very welcome challenge, given that the 20,000 will make it easier for a lot of graduates to have this golden opportunity, enjoy a moment of internship, learning from those who already are there to do better and hopefully join public service to become the civil servants, and with all the ethos, the values and principles I guess you'll be talking about in a very short while. Now, how do we, and this is my view, because it has just been announced, it's something that the Commission, we are going to work on to ensure that the 20,000 graduates have this golden chance. In fact, what is going to happen now is that you are going to involve beyond the public service, the private sector, which we have not been able to do in the past. If we do that, these young men and women will have even a better place to do their internship, and hopefully these industries, that public private space will absorb as many as they possibly can.
Briefly, Commissioner Mary, we've had incidences of announcements that the graduates will not be sent to where they come from. And there also appears to be some consultation in regards to how one can check where they'll be probably be deployed. Probably shed some light on that briefly.
Yes, thank you very much. On the deployment, all the interns know which ministry or MDAs they are supposed to report to. All they need to do is go to the headquarters, and they will be deployed to various departments. That is as easy as that. Now, as for being taken back to their village, they announced, His Excellency has made it clear that there is an advantage, very great advantage, of somebody working outside their home county to learn more and serve at that level in a different county. Learning more, they learn. And for the young people, madam, they may get their spouses from those new areas that they are going to, work away from their home counties and districts. It's an opportunity, and I want to thank His Excellency the President for giving us that reassurance of the government support for the program. It is a great for the young people.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Commissioner Mary, for your time. There you've heard it, our dear viewers. That is Commissioner Mary, one of the commissioners, the Public Service Commission, basically speaking about the inculcating of values in regards to the graduates that will be deployed in various parts of the country. And now hand over to Nissie, Imano, so you can get more on what has been prepared for you. It's back to you, Nissie.
Thank you. That is our reporter Gladys Mungai just reporting from the KICC, giving us an update on the commissioning of over 3,000 interns that are expected to join the public service as civil servants and are yet to be deployed to the different ministries and departments around the country. Now, moving on, the death toll from Thursday's accident involving a Pwani University bus and a matatu has risen to 17. This is after 3 more people died while receiving treatment at Naivasha Sub-County Hospital. Initial investigations indicated that the bus brake system failed, and in the process, the bus hit the Nissan matatu that had 14 passengers on board.
17 people have now been confirmed dead in the road accident involving a Pwani University bus and matatu along the Nakuru-Naivasha highway on Thursday. The most affected was Pwani University, which lost 10 students and staff, while others were left fighting for their lives in different hospitals following the accident. Initial investigation by traffic police pointed to suspected brake failure. Survivors of the accident narrated how they were advised to wear safety belts minutes before the bus rammed into a Nissan matatu and crashed into a drainage ditch in Naivasha.
Basi hilo ilikuwa enda kwa speed ya katikati, niseme kama hapo 50 kilometers per hour. Then kafikia mahali pa bumps, ile basi kapita bumps, basi karuka juu kidogo. Wanafunzi kule nyuma waka complain, tukadhani kwa maybe ni mistake kidogo. Basi ilikuwa enda kwa constant speed, driver anajaribu ku reduce speed, inakataa, alafu pia ilikuwa mteremko.
Nakuru Health CC Jacqueline Osore said 76 patients have so far been treated, adding that they have also managed to transfer a total of 12 patients to different hospitals, including the Kenyatta National Hospital as well as the Nakuru Provincial General Hospital for specialized treatment.
Among the fatalities, 10 were from the bus and 7 were from the bus. We are doing all that we can. We are appealing to people who can give us blood to come to the hospital and donate. The ones in level 5 are stable, most of them that we have, and most of them have fractures, major fractures. That's why we are holding them. The others is we are keeping them for observation before we release them tomorrow.
One of the injured students, Evan Kipchumba, said the trouble started after the bus hit one of the bumps along the highway, leading to the mechanical breakdown.
Bahati mbaya ni kama basi yetu brakes zili fail. So the driver alituinform that guys, kila mtu yake belt juu ni kama alijua. And then after tumevaa alikuwa anang'ang'ana kuicontrol, anashika anaingia kwa hizo pumps kama ita slow down, lakini bado ni kama haiko inawezekana.
Nairobi County Government has pledged to create rehabilitation and treatment centers for alcohol and drug addicts in the city. Speaking during the inauguration of the new Nairobi City County Alcoholic Drinks Control and Licensing Board, Nairobi Deputy Governor Njoroge Mushiri said that the move was arrived at due to the high cases of people abusing alcohol in the city. Mushiri further expressed the plans of the county government in creating a conducive environment for alcohol retailers, wholesalers to do business in a bid to enhance the county's revenue.
The county is in the process of establishing a county-owned rehabilitation center. And I would like to say, yes, we may have one, and we're establishing one, and have visited the site, and work is going on in earnest. We need also, as the board, and I challenge the chair and your team, to look at how you can work with other stakeholders, for example, the religious institutions, the counseling centers and psychologists, the people who provide these services, to help people who may have fallen into these problems as a result of consumption and use of alcoholic drinks, and work out programs that will help us guide them, counsel them, and bring them to the level that they operate and work with society in the way that we expect.
Elsewhere, a section of women leaders has vowed to marshal 1 million plus women over the current state of the nation, saying the country is not heading in the right direction. The women leaders from different women's organizations pledged to call for an all-inclusive national conversation to iron out the underlying issues that political leaders have never articulated and are affecting the economy of the country. The leaders are outraged by the alarming mayhem, destruction of property and deaths that occurred last week following the demonstrations. They are now calling upon law enforcement agencies to carry out their responsibilities as per the law.
We will marshal women, 1 million plus women, and we will go to the doorsteps of the leaders who are inciting our youth. And we want to tell them categorically to stop, to end this nonsense.
It is our children who are suffering. It is our children who are being called to the streets. It is our children who are the police officers. It is them that are fighting each other. And we are saying now we will come out as mothers because we are voters. We have rights to come and say that we have had enough. We need a national conversation.
Hivyo tumeona wa politicians, tumeona watu wabaya, tumeona wale watu wapendi Kenya waki-exploit vulnerabilities ya vijana kwa hii country na kuwa-exploit wanawatuma wafanye vitu mbaya kama kuiba, kama kufungua watu, kama kuchoma na kuiba dopa bus za wenyewe na pia kukatakata miti.
Our unity is our strength. Enough is enough.
Staying with politics, Kikuyu constituency Member of Parliament and National Assembly Leader of Majority Kimani Ichung'wah has challenged the call, I beg your pardon, by Azimio Coalition Leader Raila Odinga of opening the IEBC servers. Speaking in Thogoto Village in Kikuyu constituency, Ichung'wah claimed that the demonstrations by Azimio were a scheme to divert attention and interrupt investigations over alleged looting by some government officials in the previous regime.
Tulimalizana na uchaguzi na ikaishi. We shall not offer man sacrifices to the devil. We shall not bring impunity. We will not allow you to make the country ungovernable through anarchy. To give yourselves impunity against investigations. Taxes will be paid. Those who looted from government coffers, we have to pay, and we have their day in court.
And a section of leaders in Samburu County now want the government to move with speed and deal with the rising cases of insecurity in the region. This is after a woman at Longewan village was allegedly attacked and assaulted by bandits and her livestock stolen.
The rising cases of insecurity in Longewan village, Samburu County, has left area leaders and the locals on the edge. According to the locals, they are spending sleepless nights for fear of attacks.
Hata tukilia malilio kubwa namna gani, ni kama serikali hatusikii. Kwa maana mali yetu sasa kila siku inafunguliwa inaenda. Wamama ndio hiyo ikishunga, ndio hiyo ukiwasha ukiwa ya msee anakuja watu anaenda kutafuta msituni, anashika hawa, anasukuma na mbusi na anachapa, na kama serikali hakuna.
The latest incident where a woman was allegedly taken hostage with her goats and beaten thoroughly has ignited the wrath of the area residents.
Ukilala hujui kama utafika kesho. Sasa sijui serikali mnatufanyia nini? Hatujui kabisa, kwa ajili sasa hatuyuko maboma zetu. Tunaenda tunashanganyika, tunaishi kwa boma moja.
Shule ambazo zimefungwa katika eneo hili ni shule 4. Shule 4 zimefungwa kwa sababu ya wenzetu. Na tunaomba serikali iingililie kati. Wanafunzi sasa wametoroka, hawako mashule. Sisi walimu tuko lakini hatuendi shule.
Jennifer Legindinye, who was grazing her livestock when the incident happened, narrated her encounter with the criminals.
Naniambia sisi hatutaki kujua. Sasa tukaenda mpaka huko, tulisikianga risasi, sasa akayapa. Sasa mimi nilitoroka, nikakuja mpaka nyumbani. Sasa nilisikia mbusi amerudisha. Hii ni mtoto yangu. Naye ninashukuru Mungu sababu nimeona mkono wa Mungu amelinda yeye mahali alishikwa pamoja na hiyo mbusi.
The Samburu County Secretary Wilson Lesuda, who led a team to Longewan village to ascertain the report, condemned the act even as he called on the government to intervene and assure the locals on their security.
Kama umeshindwa na kazi ya operation na Pokot ndio wanafanya operation na sisi, si uondoka basi, kwa sababu it is very painful kama sisi wanaume wa Maasai wa Samburu ati mama anakuja kuwa raided na Mpokot.
Ikiwa sasa watu wameanza kuingilia kuchukua watoto bibi yetu na mbusi, ile hali hapa ambaye bali tuko sahi, hii belt yote ya Maya Triangle, kuna jeshi, kuna JSO, kuna EP, kuna Rangers, kuna nini, kuna security yote.
Timothy Kipnusu for Lunchtime News.
And Quarry operations in Kandundu area in Murang'a County have been halted by members of the Murang'a Municipal Board together with national government administrators following concerns from the locals in the area who claim that the mining of building stones has negatively affected their daily lives.
During the visits to the mining sites in Kandundu area, Murang'a Assistant County Commissioner Esther Muthoni ordered all the workers of the quarries to leave the sites, noting that the owners were operating without the required documents.
Nilipata complaint from the residents kwamba kuna quarries zinaendelea hazina any permit, zimekuwa zikifanya kazi hapa, manyumba zao zinaharibika, wanachua mashimo which are threats to them. Kwa hivyo pamoja na county government tumekuja hapa ku-issue closure notice ndio wasiendelee hivi, ndio tuweze ku-protect our environment, especially sahi kunaanza kunyesha hivyo, we know some of the calamities zenye zinatokea na tumeona pia kwa TV na hatutaki kitu kama hiyo itokee hapa. Kwa hivyo nasihi wenye wanafanya kazi hapa hata wenye wana manage hapa wasikie hii wito for the sake of our people.
According to the chairman of the Murang'a Municipal Board Committee for Finance and Administration, the excavation of stones in the quarries have been going on in an area marked as residential, noting that the change of use of the land from residential to mining has not yet been done.
Kwa pia na a legal commitment letter for backfilling the excavated land to from the municipal manager office. That is, after wamemaliza ku-excavate land, wanafaa kuifill ndio at least isikue risk kwa watu wengine.
Locals noted that the quarries have led to pollution in the area.
Tunasema hizi quarries zinaharibu mazingira ya hii area. Hata kama hawa watu wanasema manyumba zao wanasimamia na hii kazi ya hapa. kuharibu mazingira ni kuharibu nchi mzima. Kwa hivyo hatuwezi hatarisha nchi yote kwa sababu ya watu 1000.
Some of the workers at the quarries decried closure of the facilities will leave them jobless, asking the authorities to be fair when handling the matter.
Hii Quarry imeajiri watu zaidi ya watu 80, na mimi kutoka mahali ambapo natoka Western. Sasa mkisema mkifunga hii Quarry, hatujui sasa watoto wetu watasoma aje, waketu watakula aje. Sasa kwa hivyo tungependa tu mkubwa wetu aweze kufuata kanuni ya serikali.
For Lunchtime News, I'm Abdulaziz Abeid.
Elsewhere, Kenyans have been urged to embrace peace and unity for the prosperity of the nation. While donating foodstuff to 300 starving Muslim community families at the Namanga border through Ushirika Wema initiative, Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi's spouse Tessie Musalia urged Kenyans to stand with the vulnerable group in the society affected by the recent drought. Beneficiaries lauded the initiative and reached out to the youths to desist from being used to destroy property.
Call on all the religions, all the religions in this country. They should ignore politics and work together as one nation. We should actually not be divided because of politics.
This is about religion. Tuko na Waislamu, tuko na Wakristo, tuko na Wahindu, all cadres of religions. Inatakikana tuheshimiane na tuishi pamoja kwa amani.
Moving on, the government has been urged to involve private sector players in the fight against alcohol and drug addiction in Central Region, which have affected thousands of youth in the area. Speaking during the launch of a new rehabilitation center for alcohol and drug abuse in Thika, Kiambu County, the Chief Executive Officer of Stegrami Rehabilitation Center, Michael Weru, said the battle against addiction can only be won through an integrated approach incorporating all stakeholders.
Concerns have been raised over increased drug and alcohol addiction in Kiambu County, with many demanding action by relevant government authorities. The government is now being called upon to collaborate with private sector players in the fight against alcohol and drug addiction, especially in Central Region, where hundreds of youths have fallen victim to the menace.
Naendelea kudevelop venye unasikia cravings, na venye nimekuja hapa nimeona a big difference to how my life was. Nilikuwa shule nika drop out because of these drugs, na ningependa nikitoka hapo mzazi wangu sababu najua aliniambia atanirudisha shule. I'm willing to go back because I have a brighter future ahead of me, not the way I was in my old pattern.
From there, I'm sure once you're willing to come out clean, you can never lack ways of being helped to come out and be yourself, because the future is quite young. I'm young, I'm 25. I wasn't able to complete school, but right now I think I even have a chance to go and complete school.
Jana huko nje, life sio ni mbaya huko nje. Tunaona wengi wakiwa wasafi, maybe utalk those streets. Unajua kule ndani street huko. Kwa ndo utapata ndo mambo iko mingi, drugs, hizo kujidunga, lakini si not hapa juu outside si mbaya vile.
This comes as a new rehabilitation center for alcohol and drug abuse victims was launched in Thika area, which is one of the most affected areas in the Mount Kenya region. Speaking during the launch of the center, Chief Executive Officer Stegrami Rehabilitation Center, Michael Weru, said the battle against addiction can only be won through an integrated approach incorporating with all stakeholders.
In the society, the capacity at the moment we can house 12 inpatient, but for outpatient we can cater for both male and female. But for now, our center is housing 12 male inpatients.
To make sure that huyu mtu ako sawa vile tulimtoa hapa, kwa sababu akitoka hapa tumemfanyia detox ya kutosha yeye. Kwa hivyo tunamaanisha tumemtoa chembe zile za madawa za kulevya ama pombe katika mwili wake.
The county government in the past has been called upon to speed up legislation to regulate the sale and distribution of alcohol in the country as a way of containing the menace.
Nambale MP Geoffrey Mulanya has decried the insufficient National Government Constituency Development Fund (NGCDF) to cater for bursaries and infrastructure development in schools. Speaking during the issuance of bursary checks to needy students in his area, Mulanya said the high number of students seeking fee support was overwhelming, yet the 130 million shillings that each constituency receives is inadequate to fund the same. He added that there is a need for the construction of junior secondary school classes whereby the government should increase the bursary allocation by 30 million shillings.
Wako na ukosefu wa karo. Na pia kama Mulanya niko na mradi wa kusimamia wale watoto ambao hawajiwezi. Ofisi yangu itakuja angalia hayo kando. So hao tutashughulikia hapa, tumepeana jumla. Lakini tuko na program ya kuangalia orphans na the special needy cases ambao hawana mbele wala nyuma. Sitaki mtoto abaki nyumbani sababu ya karo. Tuko na changamoto sana eneo bunge la Nambale sababu madarasa mengi ya junior secondary ilikuwa imejengwa secondary schools. Lakini sasa tumebakisha junior secondary primary. Allocation ya CDF ambayo tuko nayo haitoshi kwa sasa. So kwa hivyo ni changamoto kubwa ambayo tunataka tupartner na government kujaribu kujenga laboratories na classrooms za junior secondary kwa shule zetu.
We are taking a breather, but we'll be back with more after this break. Don't go too far.
Why are you just staring at me? What's going on?
How did you get hurt? I just found a medical report sitting on your desk and it said that you need new medicine every 3 days, can't eat spicy food, and can't get your wounds wet. How did you really get hurt? You told me you fell in the bathroom. Do you think I'll believe that ridiculous story?
I'm way better looking than her. You know, Jenny is not really that beautiful, but she's always been really strong.
Are you that scared of me?
I'm not.
A cup of tea won't kill you.
Listen, please stop talking. Whatever you say, I really can't handle it now.
Jenny.
I'm all right.
What happened?
Liam.
ومن قام ليلة القدر ناتك يسمم ليلة القدر akiwa anafanya ibada yote imani wa ihtisaba akiwa na imani na anataraji thawabu kutoka kwa Allah ghufira lahu anasamehewa ma taqaddama min dhanbihi dhambi zake zote zilizotangulia. Hizi ni katika fadhail na khairi na mazuri kwa waja yanopatikana katika mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani. Basi huwezi compare na mwezi mwingine.
Jinsi ya kujiandaa na mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani ni kama vile kusoma dua, pia kupunguza safari na shughuli ambazo uko nazo, vile vile kusoma Qur'ani na kujikurubisha na Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, na mwisho pia kusameheana na wenzako ambao mliweza kukosana nao.
That's the power of remembering Allah.
Wewe niachilie bwana. Enka nitokea bwana.
Akiiba anapatia wewe, unaweka kama mtoto, inaanza kunyonyesha na kumbe unanyonyesha chuma.
Baraza hii kama pia ni mwizi. Hata wewe una thief.
Hebu toka uende.
Toka uende.
Na jamaa lipita toka pita na taa. Ni mira yangu moja ni 1350.
Sawa sawa. So
hiyo ni kama kununua gari kutoka Japan.
Let us use common sense.
Unaelewa hapa ni wapi?
Naelewa mheshimiwa. Na ndio kitu tunajaribu kukuelewesha, but you don't understand.
No. Sometimes we just get ourselves into trouble without really knowing.
Without knowing? Excuse yourself, Naya. How can someone just walk into somebody else's office, open the drawer, steal exam papers, and then saying he didn't know?
I feel maybe it was Njunju.
What? Juju?
Mister, it is the governor's office they are calling. Please tell her that I'm in a board meeting.
Tito, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. I can't go.
See what you have done. Useless.
Oh! second ago you were begging for my help and now suddenly I'm useless.
Wenda huko.
I want to welcome all of us to the 12th edition of the Connected Summit 2023. This is one of the biggest networking events in the country, and we welcome all the people in the industry and other stakeholders to come and join us in this event. We're going to be discussing a broad array of issues, but in addition to the serious work, we're also going to have a lot of fun in Diani, starting with golf and a lot of beach activities.
The Mozzart Bet Cup enters the round of 16 on the 1st and 2nd of April 2023. 11 top-tier teams, 3 National Super League sides, and 2 from FKF Division 1 side meet in the Clash of Titans. 2009 KPL champions Sofapaka will square it out with Darajani Gogo of Kibera from 1 p.m. on Saturday, the 1st of April 2023, before Kenya Police lock horns with Ulinzi Stars in an all-forces derby at 3 p.m. On Sunday, the 2nd of April 2023, Kariobangi Sharks will be up against Equity from 1 p.m. as they pave way for the clash between Premier League sides KCB and Bidco United at 3 p.m. Catch all the actions live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Who will be the 2023 undisputed champion of the Mozzart Bet Cup and get the golden chance of representing Kenya in the CAF Confederation Cup tournament? KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, Embu County has announced plans to plant 5 million trees in the next 5 years to combat climate change. Governor Cicely Mbarire said they are projecting to plant 1 million trees annually and will, in the coming financial year, budget set aside funds for the project.
Speaking during her installation as patron of Kenya Scouts Association Embu chapter, the governor said the funds will go towards assisting women and youth groups to establish tree nurseries to provide the seedlings.
Tumeshikilia mambo ya upandaji wa miti katika Embu County, na target yetu ni kwamba kwa kila mwaka tuweze kupanda at least 1 million trees katika kila mwaka, na tutakuwa tunaiweka katika budget.
County Scouts Commissioner Elida Mudhoni said the movement was instrumental in the achievement of set targets owing to their numbers. She also announced plans to elevate the plastic menace by collecting and recycling them into useful products.
Bana wetu kufikia target yake ambaye amesema angetaka au kigezo alichoweka cha gatuzi la Embu ni miti milioni 5 katika kipindi cha miaka 5 ijayo, na tunaweza kwa sababu tuko wengi.
Elsewhere, Egerton University has collaborated with Narok Court Users Committee to plant about 2,000 tree seedlings at Etiang wetland areas in Narok North Sub-County. The move aims to conserve the wetland area, which is the source of River Njoro that flows all the way to Lake Nakuru.
Lengo letu kama Egerton University tutengeneze hii area ndio tuweze kupata maji ya kuendelesha Lake Nakuru.
Ni jukumu letu tulinde mazingira, tupande miti na tuhamasishe watoto wetu pia waendelee kupanda miti.
Nataka nihakikishie Egerton University sasa hamtakuwa peke yetu. We will support you. Tutakuwa na nyinyi, na mimi kwanza nawashukuru sana kwa niaba ya national government na county government kwa ile waso. Kama sio nyinyi hatungekuwa na muda na source ya maji hapa.
This as the Japanese government has established 20 tree nurseries in 3 ecosystems in the country under Forest and Land Restoration Action for Kenya, set to plant over 400,000 seedlings. Speaking during the launch of the project at Matonyok Primary School in Narok East, Community Roads Empowerment Chair Professor Kiptanu Ito said the 3 degraded ecosystems include Suswa Magadi in Kajiado and Narok County, Kaptagat in Elgeyo Marakwet, and Kakamega Forest in Kakamega County.
Yeah, because community itself is aware about environment destruction, and they can come and get seedlings from here. They can buy at the subsidized price, and they go back to their individual farms and plant from there.
This project aims at producing quality tree seedlings and developing the capacity of the school learner at an early age. Remember, at an early age in tree growing activities through the environmental clubs.
Stephen Wanyonyi, Lunchtime News.
Kenya Farmers Association in Maralal, Samburu County has signed an agreement with the Community Forest Association to jointly work in conserving the Kirisia Forest Conservation. The agreement, which was officiated by the Food Agriculture Organization, FAO, will enable the Community Forest Association to take care of the forest and conserve it for posterity. Samburu North MP Eli Letipila acknowledged the agreement, noting that the community interest has been taken care of and it will also enable them to graze inside the forest during the dry season.
Leo sasa tunaweza kushirikiana kulinda hii misitu na pia kupata kama community kupata faida ambayo hii misitu inaweza kutuletea. Kama faida moja, kama unavyojua tumeanza ufugaji wa miti. Hii ndio agreement ambayo tumesema sasa tunaweza kufuga nyuki zetu katika misitu ya kiserikali.
There's other benefits like they can do beekeeping, they can do other activities. They can collect firewood, but of course they cannot cut trees and burn charcoal.
All right, staying with the forest conservation and environmental issues, we are now joined live on Zoom by Dr. Oli Keita, who is the Executive Director of Greenpeace Africa. And she joins us live for us to have a conversation around issues of climate change. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's just delve right in from the onset for somebody who just tuned in and had Greenpeace and is wondering what is Greenpeace. So why Greenpeace? What is Greenpeace?
Greenpeace is a global organization for the protection of the environment, and Greenpeace Africa, based here on the continent, is all about making sure that Africans are living in peace and harmony with nature. So that is what Greenpeace Africa is all about.
Okay, so issues of climate change are not just limited to one country, they are a global issue. The question would be, how can governments work together across the continent to kind of forestall the effects of climate change?
Yes, the effects of climate change, as you can see, are really pertinent as we speak because of what you're seeing in Kenya, for example, the droughts and the famine in Mozambique, Malawi. We have the hurricanes and typhoons, and all over Africa, we're suffering the impact of climate change. And governments are doing a lot, of course, to remedy some of these catastrophes that we are dealing with, but there is room for improvement. There is a lot more that we can do. If you look at, for example, the regulatory framework, there are things that we can do to improve the way we protect our environment. And the governments are working in that space because as you've seen during the COP27 in Egypt, they came together as one to really promote some of these frameworks, these policies that need to be implemented and also hold the big polluters accountable so that when we talk about adaptation, for example, or mitigation, or even loss and damage, that Africans are taken into account, that Africans are paid, or when I say paid, I don't mean just economically, but that we actually put measures in place that we, the people who are suffering from the impact of the climate change, are actually compensated for their loss and damage. So there's a lot to be done, and I think the wheel is in motion for us to rally behind our governments as civil society organizations so that we can do a lot more that needs to be done to remedy some of these challenges that we are facing as a continent.
Okay. I hear you say measures and some of the campaigns. What are these campaigns, for example, that Greenpeace Africa has been involved in this far?
Yes, so if we take, for example, Kenya, I'm in Nairobi this week meeting with my team. In Kenya, Greenpeace has been doing a lot in terms of the food. So we have a campaign called Food for Life, which is really important for the people in Kenya. As we know, because of famine, so many millions of people, if I'm not mistaken, 6 million people are suffering currently from famine in Kenya. And so for us, food insecurity is a big challenge that we should tackle. So the Food for Life campaign is something that we would like to really put our efforts in to make sure that Kenyans are not going hungry. We need to make sure that we work and put pressure on our governments, but also on all the key stakeholders, so that together we find solutions to the food insecurity issues that we're facing in Kenya. And this is the same in all of our African countries, because food insecurity is a big topic for all African governments. So together we have to find solutions to make sure that we are addressing this very important campaign. So this is just one of the campaigns that we are doing, which is linked to climate change. But we also have things related to really building a movement of young people to come together as one, to speak with one voice on some of these important issues that Africans are facing. So one of the pathways that Greenpeace Africa is doing is strengthening what we call the climate justice movement in Africa, to really give more voices to the climate change crisis on the continent.
All right, Dr. Uli, on the website, I see your motto is greener, healthier, and a more peaceful planet for generations to come. And I like that you mentioned the youth. So what would be your vision for the youth, for the African youth that are involved in climate or climate activists, young climate activists around Africa?
I think the youth are the most important stakeholders in this climate change movement. In all of our countries, the young people are the majority of our population. So I think we need to find ways to strengthen their capacities to make them very active agents in the climate change crisis. So we at Greenpeace, we have what we call Planet One, or in the Ubuntu space hub, where we have young people from all walks of life interested in the environmental protection or interested particularly in climate change issues. We strengthen their capacities so that they can go in communities and help our communities to mitigate, to adopt, to find ways to be more resilient in the face of this climate change. And so it's a big agenda for Greenpeace Africa. And our goal is to have a very big movement of young people across the continent to come together as agents in the climate justice movement, so that we resonate with our local needs and we find ways together to mitigate some of these things that we are dealing with as a continent. So the young people are central to the work of Greenpeace in Africa.
Okay. You said strengthening capacity, even with the youth. Some of the issues that we've seen, around climate change, just environmental conservation, famine, and drought. Just the other day, we saw that, especially and specifically in Kenya, we had a drought and a famine, and because of that, most of our farmers lost majority of their livestock. But the thing is, most people do not know that even after the rains have come, that there are things that they need to do or things that they need to put in place. So when you say strengthening capacity for the youth, are you also talking about some form of education to teach people, to get them to a place where that is something that is possible as we finish?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're talking about sensitization because, as you said, many people really don't make the connection between climate change and what's happening to them in terms of, for example, famine or drought or, even losing of their livelihoods. And there is a direct link. So we are trying to sensitize people to really know some of these issues so that they're empowered to act and preserve and be agents of change in their communities. So if you talk about, for example, the triple E's, which is education. So education is all about sensitization. It's not just formal education, but finding ways to talk to everyone about climate change. And then the second E is on empowerment. So if you educate, if you sensitize people, they are empowered to be able to make decisions impacting their lives. And then that also can come with opportunities, for example, employment. So if people are educated, they're empowered, then they are more prepared to be employed, to make a living out of whatever skills or expertise that they have. So this is very, very important to us. And this is one of the things we are trying to incorporate in our operating model, Greenpeace Africa: education, empowerment, and employment. So those are social economic paths we're looking into.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Uli Keita, who's speaking to us via Zoom from the Greenpeace Nairobi office on matters climate change. Now we'll take a look at stories making headlines in the business area. The Kenya Agriculture Livestock Research Organization says farmers could potentially halve their fertilizer use if they test their soil's acidity and lime their land in good time. The organization's director, Esther Gikonyo, says 60% of agricultural land in high rainfall areas have high soil acidity, which has been negatively affecting yields.
Proper fertilizer choice and use has the potential to increase yields by over 300%. However, over time, this could strip the land of nutrients, giving the farmer less harvest each season. Agriculture researchers say over time, even crop rotation would not revive soil, and liming would be the best alternative.
The soils in this country that are in the high and medium rainfall areas have a problem of soil acidity. And therefore, if we are going to improve crop production and to achieve food security, we need to actually adopt liming as a technology.
Giving the soil vibrance for at least 3 years. Researchers say soil liming could be easily undertaken by the farmer themselves, provided they send samples for testing beforehand.
If there is anything we need to promote in this country, it is soil testing. Since we cannot manage what we do not know, it is only by testing the soils, we understand what soils contain, and then we will be able to manage them for increased productivity.
Those contributing factors which are reached, that is calcium and magnesium, then we can do modification through using manure and the other additives.
Ideally, land pH should range between 6.5 to 8. However, anything below 5.5 should be a cause of concern for any farmer.
In those extreme ranges of pH, optimum yield will not be achieved.
They say poor uptake by farmers is mostly caused by misinformation, and as such, makes them prone to abuse of fertilizer on already ailing land.
We require 4 bags of NPK, and therefore it is not cost effective.
They assure farmers that with the adoption of good practices and biotechnology, even depressed rains would not heavily impact their expected harvests.
We take care of the issue of acidity, and therefore we can use DAP, because DAP seems to work best with our soils, because our soils are inherently low in phosphate.
Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Bank's full-year net produce reduced by 4% to driven by higher staff costs. The lender's staff cost steadily rose by a third to 3.4 billion shillings on account of aggressive staff training and poaching top-notch talent. Family Bank has recommended a total dividend of 62 cents per share. HF Group bounced back from loss-making to record a full-year net profit of 256.7 million shillings that was mainly driven by growth in total operating income that rose 28% to 3.04 billion shillings. Net interest income rose 8% to 2.16 billion shillings, while non-funded income was up 63% to 880 million shillings. Despite returning the profitability, the financier has not proposed a dividend payout to shareholders.
We also have put in significant effort in customer excellence. So we have seen that our net promoter score, for instance, which is a measure of service, move significantly now beyond the 50% mark. So income is up 28%, mainly driven by non-funded income that has grown about 64%. We also have had a reduction in expenses, 14% reduction, although we have invested in quite a number of new technologies and new employees. And also profitability, as I said earlier, has gone up. So now we are seeing ourselves stumbling into profitability, 257 million profit, up from a loss of over 600 million the previous year.
And Old Mutual Holdings has seen its full-year loss widen by 28.8% from 1.1 billion shillings to 1.4 billion shillings due to higher income tax expense. The firm saw its income tax expense increase from 903 million shillings to 1.6 billion shillings, while pushed it further into losses.
COVID-19 pandemic affected investments, pushing Old Mutual Holdings into loss-making territory. In 2022, the situations worsened for the listed firm, which cites a challenging global economic environment characterized by high inflation, higher commodity prices, stronger dollar, and disruption of the international supply chains due to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. As a result, Old Mutual Holdings sank further into loss-making from a full-year net loss of 903 million shillings to 1.4 billion shillings.
We had about 4 loss-making businesses in 2021. We only have 2 loss-making businesses in 2022. So the short answer to that is that we turned around a lot of our loss-making businesses. We only have South Sudan now and Tanzania, which are still in loss territory.
Finance costs on borrowings rose 16% due to an increase in interest rates, as well as forex losses after the shilling weakened 9% to the greenback.
And we've also built some strong partnerships with our bank assurance partners in particular, that's seeing our revenue from bank assurance increasing year on year.
Gross written premiums increased 20.3% to 32.1 billion shillings, while total income rose 13% to 30.6 billion shillings. On the other hand, total expenses and commissions increased 18.7% to 11.9 billion shillings. Due to the increased losses, Old Mutual Holdings has again not recommended any dividend payout to shareholders. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
All right, let's take a look at one more business story before we check out the day's sports. Now, I&M Group PLC has recorded 11.6 billion shillings in full-year net profit, a 34% increase that was driven by business growth, operational efficiencies, customer centricity, and digital transformation. Net interest income rose 10% to 23 billion shillings, while non-interest income increased 46% to 12.7 billion shillings. As a result of increased profit, the lender has proposed a total dividend payout of 2 shillings and 25 cents per share. All right, let's now head on over to the day's sports. The national sevens team, Shujaa, began their Hong Kong Sevens campaign with a 5-29 defeat to World Rugby Sevens Series leaders New Zealand in Group D action at the Hong Kong Stadium. The Kenyan team will face Ireland in the second game on Saturday morning and then play South Africa in their last Group D match.
Stadium here in Hong Kong. The men's competition about to get started.
New Zealand landed 3 tries from Leroy Carter, Dylan Collier and Aholia Lokolisoa, with Garohi McGarvey Black and Rokolisoa adding conversions for a 19-min lead.
Got some space on the near side and they'll have too much pace for Herman Humwa and Leroy. It's wet, it's raining here in Hong Kong, but the skills are still on show. Molia Rokolisoa and the hot stepper on the series right now, Akila.
Shujaa captain Nelson Oyo went over the whitewash to make it 19-5 at the break. Kodivai and Rokolisoa landed 2 more tries to confirm the full-time score.
Alvin Otieno. Tanga's there, he's been busy. Anya through the hands to OU. They should score here, Kenya, and their captain is in. They deserved it.
The Kenyan team will face Ireland in their second game on Saturday morning and then play South Africa in their last Group D match. The team currently lies 13th in the standings with 29 points. New Zealand tops the standings with 120 points, 12 ahead of second place Argentina. France is third with 95 points.
Kenya, they have won this by 29 points to 5.
Mozzart Bet Cup round of 16 matches will kick off on Saturday with an entertaining Afande derby pitting Kenya Police and Ulinzi FC at Kenyatta Stadium, Machakos. The winners of the competition will book a ticket to the CAF Confederation Cup.
The game will kick off at 3 p.m. and will be live on KBC Channel 1. At the same venue, Sofapaka will face FKF National Super League side Darajani Gogo. In other matches, Division 1 side Rainbow FC will face Tusker FC at Kasarani Annex, while Kakamega Homeboys will welcome league leaders Gor Mahia at Bukungu Stadium. On 2nd of April, KCB and Bidco will battle it out in an all-Premier League clash at Kasarani Annex at 3 p.m. in a game that will be televised live on KBC Channel 1. The winners of the competition will book a ticket to the CAF Confederation Cup. For Lunchtime News, I'm Daniel Mwendwa.
And the English Premier League matches will resume this weekend following a 2-week-long international break. Defending champions Manchester City and Liverpool will lock horns on Saturday at the Etihad Stadium in an early kick-off match.
City embark on an important stage in the Premier League, as Pep Guardiola's side will be keen to pick up from where they left off after putting together a strong run of form before the international break. Last season's top 2 are both chasing different targets, heading into the latter stages of this campaign, with the Citizens seeking to close the gap between them and league leaders Arsenal and the Reds battling to make the top 4. Elsewhere, Arsenal will take on a lead side that targets to retain their Premier League status. The Gunners rattled off 6 straight domestic victories before the international break to leave them 8 points clear at the top of the table with 10 games remaining. 2 mid-table sides with an identical Premier League points tally after 27 matches lock horns at Stamford Bridge on Saturday evening as Chelsea plays host to Aston Villa. The Blues occupy the 10th spot following a 2-2 draw with Everton before the international break, while Villa is 1 place worse off thanks to a 3-0 success over Bournemouth.
And with that, we come to the end of Lunchtime News, but more news on our website at www.kbc.co.ke. I am Nissie Imano. Brian Muraru has been our sign language interpreter this afternoon. Good afternoon and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
To get the pit as your skiza tune, dial star 811 star 397 hash.
You may be in the pit. You do not see how you could get out. But the good news is that you do not have to get by yourself. The Most High God is about to lift you out. He's about to turn the medical report. He's about to free you. He's about to open new doors, bringing new opportunities, new relationships. The pit is not your destination. Get ready to rise.
To get the pit, dial star 811 star 397 hash. Star 811 star 397 hash.
Why are you just staring at me? What's going on?
How did you get hurt? I just found a medical report sitting on your desk and it said that you need new medicine every 3 days, can't eat spicy food, and can't get your wounds wet. How did you really get hurt? You told me you fell in the bathroom. Do you think I'll believe that ridiculous story?
I'm way better looking than her. You know, Jenny is not really that beautiful, but she's always been really strong.
Are you that scared of me?
I'm not.
A cup of tea won't kill you.
Listen, please stop talking. Whatever you say, I really can't handle it now.
Jenny.
I'm all right.
What happened?
Liam.